Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger say that they are withdrawing from the International Criminal Court. The three West African countries accuse the ICC of being a, quote, instrument of neo-colonialist repression, saying that it only targets less privileged countries. They said they will no longer recognize its authority. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are all led by military governments, and those three governments have said that they will set up what they called indigenous mechanisms in its place. Al Jazeera's Nicolas Haque reports from Dakar in Senegal.
An instrument of neo-colonial repression in the hands of imperialism. Those are the cutting and strong words used in a joint statement from the Sahel countries. They say that the International Criminal Court delivers selective justice, a feeling shared by other countries in Africa where there seems to be a disproportionate amount of Africans being prosecuted at the ICC. There's been former heads of states, politicians that have spent years in detention to be then released without charge. Now, in the statement, they say that the ICC seems incapable of prosecuting obvious crimes, crimes against humanity, war crimes, but also crimes of genocide, clearly pointing the finger to Israel without mentioning them by name. And so this statement from these three countries to wanting to leave the ICC comes just as weeks ago a delegation of Republican senators visited Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, where there was discussion over the ICC membership. Now, the United States is not a member of the International Criminal Court. And so these three countries now, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, say they will create their own tribunal to try their own crimes of human rights violation away from The Hague, but on their own soil. Nicolas, Haque, Al Jazeera, Dakar.
Maxine Rubin is a postdoctoral research fellow at the German Institute of Global and Area Studies. You've studied the ICC's relations with various African nations. You're joining us from Hamburg. It's great to have you on the program. What do you make of this claim by Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso that the ICC is, quote, an instrument of neo-colonial repression, that it only punishes developing countries?
Hi, Cyril, and thank you so much for having me on your show. I would hesitate to adopt that language that has been put forward by these three countries. It's a popular critique from after al-Bashir's arrest warrant was issued. But in this instance, I'm not sure it really holds water. It seems to be a thin veil for other motivations behind the withdrawal. In fact, Mali self-referred its own case to the ICC for investigation, which suggests that there's something more to the story than what they're presenting.
Okay, what would be the motivation to withdraw from the International Criminal Court, which, just to remind our viewers, is the global court that examines potentially criminal conduct of individuals, right? So we have one court, the ICJ, which can put states on trial or bring legal action against states, and the other one, ICC, brings legal action against individuals.
Yes, I think that's a very useful clarification. Thank you. So yes, the ICC investigates individuals for these four crimes: genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and crimes of aggression. And in my view, the motivation, the most immediate explanation for why these three states have quite suddenly withdrawn from the International Criminal Court seems to be that there's other political alliances that are shaping this, most likely Russia. These three states all had coups between 2020 and 2023. The new junta governments have clearly positioned themselves as being in alliance with Russia. And the International Criminal Court currently has a warrant of arrest for Putin for war crimes and crimes against humanity in the Ukraine crisis. So I suspect that there would probably be political pressure for them to make a stand against the International Criminal Court.
Okay, so tell me if I'm understanding this right. You're saying that another possible reading of this is that countries that feel they may not want to subject themselves to scrutiny of potential criminal action would be the countries that would either never join the ICC in the first place, The US, China, Russia are examples. Israel is another example. And countries that may feel that the law could work against them sometime in the future, they would also be incentivized to withdraw from the Rome Statute. Would that be fair?
Exactly. I would agree with that. And I think it's important also to bear in mind why many states joined the court in the first place in the late 1990s and early 2000s. And one of the reasons for that amongst the African group was a belief that the International Criminal Court would be an equalizer, for example, to hold powerful states like Russia and US accountable. And that hasn't transpired because it's not a compulsory court to join, it's voluntary. So there also has been a bit of a disappointment from the initial vision for the court and what it's able to actually deliver.
Maxine Rubin, postdoctoral research fellow at the German Institute of Global and Area Studies. Thank you very much for joining us on the Al Jazeera News Hour.
Thank you.
Don't miss out. Get a full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.